it's PLB with MLB News, back with another video, and today's video, we're going to talk about some MLB news. We finally have got some free agent signing. We've got Mike Minor signing, we've got Trevor May, and we're going to talk about the Trevor May signing and what this means for the market, and really what I think this means for other players like Liam Hendricks, Alex Colomé, other closers like this. So yeah, we're going to talk about some MLB news. Michael Taylor signed with the Kansas City Royals. Mike Minor signed with the Kansas City Royals. Obviously, the big news of today is the Mets signed Trevor May. We're also going to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays, how they just want everybody in free agency according to some rumors that I've seen. And Elvis Andrus has finally lost his starting shortstop spot on the Texas Rangers. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. About 81% of you that watch, or about 80% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So get your life together and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video. Now I'm going to start with the main title of this video, the thumbnail, what you clicked on this video. Mets signed Trevor May. Trevor May, he's been really good, very good. He was signed for a 2-year, $15 million deal to go to the New York Mets. This is the first signing of the Steve Cohen era as being the owner of the New York Mets, and I really, really like this signing. For $7 million a year, I think this is an absolute steal for Trevor May, who's probably your 7th inning guy. I think that's really good value for what you're going to be getting. You're probably going to be getting a near 3 ERA, which is what he's done combined in the last couple seasons. 3.19 ERA, which is very good. He does give up some home runs, but most of those home runs are just they're just solo home runs. So that's 1 run, obviously. I really like this signing. Now let's talk about what it means for the rest of the market and what it means for the Mets in 2020. We'll first talk about what it means for the rest of the market. What it means for the rest of the market, in my opinion, is the fact that players are going to have less value this year. We saw an NBA free agency with players like Montrezl Harrell, Serge Ibaka, players like those. And if you haven't checked out my basketball channel, videos are back being uploaded there, so make sure you check that out. There's a link in the description below, so go ahead and check that out. We've seen this in NBA free agency, that players are getting paid less because they think maybe in 2021 teams have lost so much money. And we're going to talk about JT Realmuto in this video too, which has something similar into this too, that JT Realmuto is not going to be re-signed by the Phillies because of the fact that apparently John Middleton, the GM of the Phillies, said they lost $2 billion, which is not true. And he pretty much just lied to Bryce Harper, saying, yeah, we're going to re-sign JT Realmuto. No, you're a liar. So they lied to Bryce Harper. If I was Bryce Harper, I'd want out. I don't see why you ever signed there in the first place. But apparently you really like some cheesesteaks. Is that what they're called? Yeah, I think so. But the Mets signed Trevor May. I think this kind of gives a little bit of what players like Colomé, Hendricks, players like those, or 7th and 8th inning players as well, have value on the market right now. And this is good value for a player like Trevor May. You're going to be paying him about $7 million a year, just a little bit more than $7 million, probably about $7.5 million or so. And I really like this signing. I think it's a great signing, and this makes the Mets even better. And they really haven't even made their biggest move of the offseason, even though this is a big move. Trevor May is going to be their 7th inning guy. You're probably looking at Seth Lugo in the 8th inning and Edwin Diaz in the 9th inning. Edwin Diaz had a good 2020 season, even though he did not have a good 2019 season. Seth Lugo's been good ever since he moved to the bullpen, but he could be moved back to starter. I think he should stay as a reliever because that's just another arm in that bullpen. You've still got Justin Wilson. You've still got a lot of good players in that bullpen. You've still got Robert Gesellman, whether he's going to start or be in the bullpen. So I really like this signing. I think it's a very good signing for the New York Mets, and it's really a good signing. At like earlier, like at, I don't know, 1 o'clock today, um, pretty much said that they were in talks, and this is interesting to me. Maybe it's just not interesting to you guys. But the same kind of rumor came out about the Blue Jays and George Springer, that they were in talks and trying to negotiate contracts and stuff like that. And George Springer to the Blue Jays, I mean, that really gives them a good outfield. You look at Randall Grichuk in that outfield, Lourdes Gurriel in that outfield with George Springer. That's great. That is a great outfit. You still got Teoscar Hernandez there who could DH. Um, so I mean, they could be really good. Um, and that AL East could be very even more competitive than it was in 2020 if the Blue Jays do sign George Springer. Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays just want everybody. They're interested in Colt Wong. They're interested in George Springer. They're interested in everybody on the market. I think they might be interested in me, and I'm not even a free agent. Um, so the Mets sign Trevor May. I give it a huge thumbs up. If I'm grading this signing, I'm giving it an A plus. I really, really like this signing. Great signing by the New York Mets. Yeah, I really like this signing. Great move by the Mets. Now let's go ahead and move on to Mike Minor. He has signed with the Kansas City Royals for a 2-year, $18 million contract. I think this is another good signing by the Kansas City Royals. And here's the reason behind this. I think you can deal Mike Minor at the 2021 MLB trade deadline if he has some value. And the last 2 seasons, he's been very good for the Rangers, then was traded to the A's at the 2020 MLB trade deadline. You could get some decent prospects back for him. You trade him to a contending team. And that's really what this signing was. It's 2 years, $18 million. I like this signing. Yes, it makes the Royals better, but it gives them a veteran who's already been on their team and who's going to be really good on their team. I really like this signing. So good signing by the Royals, even though it doesn't really fit the timeline of their team. I understand that too, that it really just does not fit the timeline of their team. They're looking towards the future, but I like it because I think you could get some decent prospects back at the trade deadline for a team that is in need of starting pitching, and those teams are not hard to find. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use pitching. When I first saw this, I thought he was going to go to more of a contender. I thought he really was going to go to more of a contender. But I like the move by the Royals. I like the idea of thinking one step ahead, trying to get prospects back for him at the 2021 MLB trade deadline. Like this move a lot. Good job by the Royals, but you got to get a move at the trade deadline for prospects, or else it's kind of not as good. If I was giving this a grade, I would give it a B plus. The reason I give it a B plus is even if he does stay on the Royals, then he still is a good pitcher. But if you do trade him at the trade deadline, you can still get good prospects. So yeah. Next, Royals, another signing for them, Michael Taylor. Michael Taylor, this is probably going to be the quickest part of news that I talk about in this video. What? Like, they have so many outfielders already. They have Bubba Starling. They have Whit Merrifield. They have Hunter Dozier. They have Jorge Soler. That's just 4. I'm sure they have quite a few more in that outfield. Why do you need another outfielder, Michael A. Taylor, who really has just not shown much promise in his career? Now, I know that he could be good and he has a lot of potential, but I would rather let Bubba Starling develop at that position instead of have Michael Taylor there. Michael Taylor, yes, they could develop him into a good player, and maybe he starts at AAA in 2021 if there is a minor league season. But I just don't see the point of this signing. So if I was grading this signing, like C, I don't know. Like, it's average. I mean, if you can develop him into a good player, then it's a lot better of a signing. That's just my opinion. So, our next news to talk about. It's Elvis Andrus, and he is now not the shortstop. He's going to be playing in a utility role in 2021. Now, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of this because it's for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He's going to be the starting shortstop in 2021 for the Texas Rangers. This does not make a bit of sense for me. You're paying Elvis Andrus good money to be the shortstop, and he doesn't do a bad job. He just does not fit the timeline of the Texas Rangers. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is just kind of the definition of a good utility player. He can hit the ball well. He's not a power bat, but he can still hit the ball well. He can play third base. He can play second base. He can play shortstop. He can play catcher. He can play just about anywhere you need him to play. And I don't think he's better than Elvis Andrus. I'm just going to be honest. Next, we had a trade. Very minor trade. I'm just going to be honest. It's a minor trade. The Rockies and Reds swap Jeff Hoffman for Robert Stevenson. I mean, this is really not big. Jeff Hoffman really is probably going to start in AAA, and then Robert Stevenson could be a good arm in that Rockies rotation. So, yeah, that's all the MLB news I've got as of right now. Let me check MLB Trade Rumors. You know, MLB Trade Rumors is literally like the best site for MLB news. So let me check that, and let's see if there's any more MLB news for me to talk about. Alright, so that's all the MLB news I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Like I said in the start of the video, about 80% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So get your life together and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.